Hello and welcome in to another week of the Stadium Experience with Jake Elmsley. Jordan Moment, as always, here with me. And Jordan, this week, my therapist told me to try and, inflict less negative things on myself.
Okay.
Because I have kind of a habit. I, seek out news that makes me upset. Because there's a lot of news that makes you upset. You know, it's everywhere. The world is just full of... We live in a world full of horrors and atrocities going on every day, and now we have the technology to be aware of them. And at a certain level, I feel like if you're not, actively being harmed by a lot of these, you owe the victims worldwide at least knowing what's happening, being aware of what's happening. You owe the world having some kind of perspective. But I'm trying to consume that in a way that's less taxing to me. Something I'm working on this week. It's my homework. So we've got so I'm gonna try and put a positive spin on some stuff we got today, Jordan. Because we got some big Patriots news today. We picked a good day. Jordan, news finally broke the day of the show. It didn't break tomorrow. It didn't break 2 days after. We got some fresh, very relevant Patriots news. Hopefully not the biggest story of the offseason, but one of them for them. And that is that the Patriots, and the team hasn't fully announced it, but Schefter announced it this morning. We're recording this on Tuesday. That Bill O'Brien is coming back to be the offensive coordinator for the Patriots this year. Which, I have some thoughts on the timing of it. I have some thoughts about just kind of the methodology of how I feel like they went about identifying in the interview process and all that. I got a lot I want to talk about with that. But I'm surprised it happened this quickly. Are they the first team to, hire a coordinator officially? I know some playoff teams fired coordinators. I feel like they got this done pretty quickly.
I mean, it was the writing was on the wall, but yes, they did get it done quickly.
They got it done quickly, which on one hand, Jordan, again, I talked about this last week when they announced that they were doing the interviews. A part of me, very glad that they're just doing it and they're getting it out of the way and we don't have to spend months questioning and them trying to hide it like it gives them some kind of tactical advantage that doesn't exist. Right? One hand. From the perspective of just being able to talk about this and kind of be done with it. Great. Very nice. Very refreshing. However, and again, I'm going to start off being positive. This is certainly a good thing for the Patriots. In a vacuum. This is certainly an upgrade, I would say, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
This is certainly an upgrade for them. We talked about this last week. Bill O'Brien is probably the easiest fit for them in terms of satisfying all major parties. As in Bill Belichick, it's somebody he knows, which he loves people he knows. Mac Jones, also somebody he kind of knows, even though we will clarify, Bill O'Brien never coached Mac Jones at Alabama. Mac coached Bill O'Brien at Alabama because Bill O'Brien got hired the spring of Mac's last year there, and he kind of helped him. But still, somebody he knows, somebody who comes from something that he knows, and I assume it makes Robert Kraft at least kind of happy because it's somebody he knows and it's not Matt Patricia. But on that level, fine. Satisfies everybody. Maybe at the end of a season where everybody seemed to hate each other, maybe making a decision that just nobody's seemingly going to be, unless Mac Jones actually hates Bill O'Brien. Maybe he doesn't. I'm assuming he doesn't. But on that level, maybe make some kind of sense to go with something safe that nobody's going to be mad at. That I will admit. However, I do take some issue with this. I'm still holding out that in my ideal world, they don't just go for Bill O'Brien. They don't just go for a retread. They don't just go for somebody who represents what they've done. I talk about this a lot. I wanted a McVay clone. I wanted a Kyle Shanahan clone. I'd take an Andy Reid clone. One of them. One of the things that all the teams that are winning right now have. Now, in fairness. No, never mind, actually. Not in fairness. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted in an ideal world. I wanted that, and we don't have that. Instead of going for Bill O'Brien, who is safe, is in all honesty in the exact same vein that got them to hire Matt Patricia, that got them to hire Joe Judge. However, they're actually having him do the thing he's allegedly good at. Which, Bill O'Brien, for all the bad things we've said about him, Jordan, and we'll get into the bad things. Me and you spent years making fun of Bill O'Brien for a little while there. I've always been a sneaky Bill O'Brien defender. I'll admit that too. I've always been like a sneaky Bill O'Brien defender.
So that's a bit of revisionism.
I don't think it is. Even when it was going south in Houston, I was like, well, this was going okay for a while. Let's not act like they were always bad. Well, I'll be fair. When he was not the GM, it was going pretty good there. It was probably the most successful stretch in Texans history. They won a couple of playoff games. They had a couple double-digit win seasons. Then they made him the GM, and things kind of went south. And also, Jordan, I had this thought today. If you want like one more like pro Bill O'Brien point, in fairness, it's not like the Texans got rid of him and then like turned it around. This isn't like a Joe Judge situation where they got rid of him and then immediately turned it around. They got rid of him and it's been a mess. They haven't done anything since. It's not like they
ruined them.
I don't know if he did. Honestly, like they were rude. They had the first overall pick right before he got there. They were the worst team in the league right before he got there. He got there and they were okay. Like they were like an AFC also ran, but they were in the playoffs and then he left and now they're just right back to where they were when he started. I don't know if I'd call that ruining them. I'd call that giving them a reprieve. It's not like he took over something that was good and made it worse. So I'm just saying that's maybe a pro Bill O'Brien point. But anyway, Bill O'Brien, upgrade over what they had. Obviously, an upgrade over what they had. Most things would be. I want to get that out of the way. All right? We're being positive, Jordan. Give me a smile, Jordan. Positivity. Thank you. We're being positive. Okay, you can stop smiling now. I don't like it now. Thank you. It was too much. Too much. Made me uncomfortable. But.
So Jake doesn't like when I show that much emotion.
Yeah, too much. Too fast. But I do want to talk about this. Because they interviewed five guys. They interviewed Bill O'Brien. They interviewed Keenan McCardle, who was the Vikings wide receiver coach talked about. Also, though, more importantly, played for Belichick with the Browns, Jordan. I'm going to see if you can notice a common thread here as we keep going. Played for Belichick when he was with the Browns. Sean Jefferson, who's the Cardinals wide receiver coach and some kind of assistant head coach. Played for Belichick when he was like an assistant with the Patriots with Bill Parcells. Adrian Clem, who is the Oregon O-line coach and like the assistant head coach and like the run game coordinator. We're going to talk about him more in a minute. Drafted by the Patriots in 2000, was like a backup lineman here till 2004. And then Nick Caley, who's their tight ends coach right now, but I think he's not under contract. He's also interviewing for the Jets job. But anyway, coach under Bill Belichick at the moment. So Jordan, what was the common thread there?
None of those guys are Pro Bowlers. Am I close?
Well, I've always said like bad players make the best coaches, typically speaking. Deion Sanders is throwing that in there. Typically backups and like bottom of the roster guys, I feel like tend to become better coaches across all sports.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, though,
but
close.
No, they are all very, very cronyism.
All
Belichick's
Belichick guys.
Old flames.
All old. Some of them very tangential, right? Some of them very distant old flames. But all connections. And in fair, I guess I'll be fair. I guess technically, Keenan McCardle, coaches under Kevin McConnell, who is technically a Sean McVay clone, also technically a Bill Belichick crony, would also be connected to them. But I take it. Anyway. However, I guess I understand, and this is always how they've operated. I don't think they've ever brought in a coach who didn't have some kind of connection to them for any major job. And I'm sure most organizations, for the most part, operate that way to a certain extent. Like when it comes to like your coordinators, like your high-level positions, you're usually probably not trusting a stranger. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd have to that takes a lot of information for me to look at. But my issue is my even bigger issue with this than who they hired. Because again, I can stomach Bill O'Brien. I really can. I can accept it. There's plenty of positives to it. Whatever. The methodology, though, to get to this is kind of what bothers me more than anything. Because I guess like what this whole process kind of screams to me is like this is just another thing that a disengaged, like low energy Bill Belichick has kind of phoned in. Like he called 5 guys that he knows, one of whom was a clear favorite. Well, excuse me, 4 guys that he knows, and the guy they probably should have made the OC last year who currently worked for them. With one of them being the obvious favorite, brought them in, interviewed them like over the course of like a weekend, it feels like. I think they literally did these all in 4 days? Like they did this over the course of like what felt like 4 or 5 days. And then they picked the obvious guy. And Jordan, they certainly did not do an exhaustive search on this. They certainly did not search high and low to find somebody for this job. And even if your end game is hiring Bill O'Brien, which, okay, fine, whatever. You know, it is what it is. It's fine. This would have been an infinitely better season if they had done this last year. Even if that's your end goal, though, Jordan, why can't you cast a wider net? Like, I know the answer why you can't cast a wide. I know the answer, Jordan. It's a very rhetorical question. Well, I'm sure why can't you cast a wider net? Like, even if you're going to hire Bill O'Brien, why can't you bring in, like, a McVay guy just to, like, steal his ideas? Why can't you bring in, like, one of Kyle Shanahan's head assistants and just ask him a bunch of questions and then steal his ideas? Why can't you get, like, whoever? I think the QB coach for the Chiefs is, like, Matt Nagy, so maybe somebody else. But somebody else there and just talk to them and just steal their ideas. Because, Jordan, I gotta tell you, well, because if there's ever a time when a coach from another organization might, like, legitimately give you something. Like, because I know all these guys, like, talk. Like, I'm sure I know these coaches all talk at, like, these conferences. But I assume that they're not, like, giving each other their secret sauces. You know, whatever that might be. Whatever the secret ingredient might be. I'm sure they're not giving up that. You know, Jordan, though, a guy might give up something in an interview. Is that fair to say? Like, if you were interviewing a guy for a job, that might be the time when they'll tell you something. If you're like, well, how do you guys get this done? Well, like, I see these plays here. How do you guys do this? How is this? Whatever it is, I'm not an expert. But you just think that if you're trying to, you know, turn every stone, you just bring them in. Just bring these guys in. Just bring them in and steal their ideas. What? Like, if you're in... It's going to take you more time. It's going to take more effort. But, like, do it and like, wiretap the meetings. I don't know if you can film these meetings. Maybe you can. If you can't, do it anyway. And just give it to Bill O'Brien. Be like, here you go. Here are these guys' ideas, by the way. Maybe we incorporate some of this. I don't know, but they're not. Because they don't care. Jordan, I bet the Bill Belichick I grew up knowing would have done that. He would have gone to an... The way the Patriots operated when they were good, Jordan, they would have gone to every extreme end. They would have used this like they used every stupid little situation, scenario in the offseason, in the span of a game. Every little detail of everything, they would have used it to, like, eke out one little advantage. Like they used to. Like they did when they were functional. And I probably would have thought it was stupid. In all fairness, I mean, how many stupid little things, like every time the Patriots got popped for anything, it was like, well, why are you doing that? You don't need to do that. You're good. Why are you doing it? But a part of me had some kind of understanding that no, but like the fact, like they're so detail orientated that even if like each like individual little thing they do seems stupid, it adds up to something. Like in its totality, if they're this detail orientated about like the air pressure in the ball, that means that they must be super detail orientated about like something that probably actually matters down the line somewhere. It's a mentality thing at that point. And now, they're just gonna call 4 guys so you can like hit the quota numbers and then just hire Bill O'Brien because he's the obvious choice. And it's that's the part. I think that bugs me the most about it, Jordan. That's the thing that bugs me about it. Like, not even the choice. Whatever. Fine. Like, they can get like a modern NFL offense with like the next head coach in like a year. Like, fine. Like, Bill O'Brien probably like ups your chances of the Patriots winning 9 to 10 games next year and getting Bill Belichick a season away from the all-time head coaching record, which I know is the only thing that matters at this point. Apparently, from how they're acting. But it's just, again, like, it's just, it's like, I don't know, it's like, they made an obvious, took like the obvious lazy route, which happens, by the way, to probably be a fine decision. It'll probably work out okay for them. But, like, that's not why they did it. Like, this was easy. Because, I don't know, like, again, you have a coach who's just not locked in. I don't know, Belichick probably just didn't want to do 5 other interviews for the sake of, like, gathering intel. So, why bother? Bring in your friends. And just, which, in fairness, by the way, they are, it also does look like they're also going to hire, it does look like they brought in Adrian Clem for another interview after they kind of announced the O'Brien thing, and Mike Girardi said they've zeroed in on him, so they might be, looks like they're like bringing in this guy to be the O-line coach and maybe something else, which is good, because Matt Patricia was the O-line coach last year, so it looks like that's not going to be the thing this year. We'll talk about Patricia in a couple of minutes, but so at least at a bare minimum, looks like they're trying to fill out the staff, and Adrian Clem is apparently somebody that's in some kind of demand, because all the reporting says he makes like a decent amount of money at Oregon for an assistant. So I don't know. Like, at least they're trying to bring in assistant coaches, I guess, which is another thing I hope happens. I hope at a bare minimum, Bill O'Brien hires some actual assistant coaches, because I feel as though we'll get to that in a minute. But like, am I off base? Am I like overreacting to this, or like, am I making any kind of sense here?
Oh no, you're making perfect sense.
All right, cool, thanks.
And in some regards.
Like, yeah, it's just, I don't know. Like, it's like, don't you feel like Belichick 10 years ago would have, like, somehow found a way to use this to, like, edge shoot the rest of the league?
Well, Bill Belichick 10 years ago would have had an actual offensive coordinator and wouldn't even be in this position.
Oh, right. But even if, what if somebody left? They would have had an assistant coach because he would have been grooming somebody. Yeah, great point. Because it would have been too lazy to hire, like, actual assistants last year. That's a great point. But you get my point. Like, if they somehow wound up in this position, they would have just gone to every extreme length, and it would have felt like the silliest thing in the world. But you're like, okay, well, everything adds up to winning, and now they don't do any of it, and now I notice it. Now, again, Jordan, it's like we keep arguing about it. All of this nonsense they don't do now makes me appreciate how much effort and attention to detail Bill Belichick like had when he was actually trying. Like, this whole sequence of the last few years has actually made me appreciate like what Bill Belichick was in his prime, his mid-60s more. But again, I guess like if I'm gonna return to the positives are, even if Bill Belichick's not engaged, which he's not nearly as engaged as he ever used to be. You can't like there's no realm where you can convince me otherwise. He is less engaged. If you haven't noticed that, I don't know what to tell you. For one thing, I think at least you have a situation where you have a Bill O'Brien coming in who has every motivation in the world to try and knock this out of the park. To try and like really like make this work here. Which I would assume extends to trying to bring in a good staff, maybe reload you on some of those, some of these positional coach areas where you have just completely let atrophy over the last couple of years. I would assume that if you're Bill O'Brien, you're coming in here with some kind of assurance that Joe Judge will not be the QB coach. That's just me, Jordan. If I'm just looking at it from what I'd be thinking if I was Bill O'Brien, I assume you're Bill O'Brien. You have some leverage in this situation. You're in some kind of demand. I imagine you say you get to pick your own QB coach, or like you're the QB coach and you pick your own assistant QB coach. Is that fair, Jordan?
Maybe.
I would very much assume. Oh, wait. Would you want to come in and be like, Joe Judge, QB coach? Great. Probably not.
No.
If you're Bill O'Brien and you're like working on your like reclamation so you can get back to one day like either being a head coach in the NFL or like, be a head coach in college or something. Like I assume that's the end game for him in his mind's eye. Which again is a good opportunity to do. I mean, like anything you do, gonna look great. Gonna look like you're a miracle worker. If you get Mac Jones to like a level of average quarterback play, you are gonna look like a miracle worker. But again, you're going to be motivated to do that. You're going to be motivated to fill out the staff. But, excuse me, you're going to be motivated to, at least at a minimum, try and make something like that work. Again, they got this Adrian Clem guy coming. Got him coming in, baby, out of Oregon. And at a bare minimum, I guess you're going to have a motivated Bill O'Brien, so maybe your offense. And again, I assume he's coming in with some kind of leverage. I assume that Bill O'Brien is taking this job. I would assume he'd only take this job if he had the assurance that he has like a fair degree of autonomy. So, that's neat. It's a step back. Like it is what it is not. It is not this organization trying to move forward or trying to evolve in any meaningful way, which is frustrating to see, Jordan, and doesn't make me feel, and again makes me feel like the best case for the Patriots next year at the moment, unless they make like some massive roster upheaval, which may or may not happen. Doesn't make me feel like the ceiling for this team goes up to much more than it was like last year. Not this past season, the season before. But here he is. We got Bill O'Brien, Jordan. I know you got some Bill O'Brien thoughts. Are you trying to peel yourself off the ceiling?
So I want to do a call back to the Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game slander, which was made an appearance in the thumbnail of the episode.
Oh, sure.
But I made a modification to this napkin.
Yeah. Last time on the Stadium Experience. L?
This is an L move by the New England Patriots.
Okay, you're hard again. Okay.
Very, very extravagant bit. Oh, boy. Bill O'Brien. So, I'll start with the positive. Bill O'Brien is better than two wash-ups who probably shouldn't even be coaching in this league.
Which we'll get into them in a minute, by the way. Don't let me forget.
They should be at like, one should be coaching at like I don't even know, the bottom of the bottom one should be coaching at like University of Texas San Antonio, and the
Planet
other
Fitness?
one should be coaching at like the fucking Citadel or somewhere.
Okay.
Somewhere that you'll never hear from them again, and everything will just go nice and quiet. Just shh.
Okay. All right.
There you go, Joe Judge. Just fade away in the Sun Belt in obscurity. So we joked about this throughout the entire season. It's like, oh, what if they just got Bill O'Brien?
Oh, I was serious about it. Oh, you were joking? I was very serious about it.
I was serious too. But now that we're here, I experienced about like 45 seconds of cope. And then I said, okay, what can Bill O'Brien really do that can make this team competitive? There we go.
Get actual. I'll tell you, like, get actual like position coaches that like coach those positions and coach offense. Actually coach offense, maybe.
Is Bill O'Brien picking those guys, or is Bill Belichick
They're at least
picking those
hiring guys. They're at least hiring guys who coach those positions at a bare. I assume he gets some say in some of them, but at a bare minimum,
sure he gets some say in some of them?
You know what? Even if he's not, they're at least hiring.
Positive?
They're at least hiring guys who coach those positions.
I'm not sure.
This Adrian Clem fella, he is an O-line coach, and they're hiring him to coach O-line. That's what he's done. He's a former offensive lineman who's been coaching O-line and now will coach O-line for them, Jordan, which is a radically better resume to coach O-line than Matt Patricia had. So yeah, I'd say so. Like, yes, that's I know I'm getting excited about hiring position coaches that coach their positions, but that's where we're at, Jordan. It's like, well, Patriots are changing, rewriting the book here. You see, they're hiring position coaches who coach those positions. They are playing checkers right now, Jordan, and it's exciting. Yes, I've seen Bill O'Brien like win a playoff game with like Brandon Weeden. That's something. I've seen Bill O'Brien probably be the most successful like Belichick offshoot, sadly. Unless you're counting Brian Dable as a Belichick offshoot.
I mean, I count Mike Vrabel as a Belichick offshoot.
You do? Okay, because that's a contentious thing. A lot of people don't. You do?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Well, Mike Vrabel might be there. I mean, Mike Vrabel like made it to the A. In fairness, they've both just been two guys who've just feasted on the AFC South at different points. But he's made a conference title game. So fair enough. All right, fair enough. But yeah, I mean, again, like, I've seen Bill O'Brien, he made the playoffs 4 times. Like, that's more than Matt Patricia ever did, Joe Judge ever did, Josh McDaniels has ever done, Romeo Crennel ever did, Eric Mangini ever did, Brian Flores ever did, but that's kind of a whole different can of worms. But
Brian Flores never really got a chance.
Yeah, he got a little bit, yeah, but he didn't do it, like I can only project so much. I still like Brian Flores, but he never made the playoffs. Maybe he would have if he had like been with them the year that they traded a bunch of stuff for Tyreek Hill and like signed Teron Armstead to a bunch of money and traded for Bradley Chubb and gave him a bunch of money. He got done dirty a little bit, but it is what it is. But it's a low ceiling move. That is the core of what I'm saying. This is like get back to like the level of competency hopefully you had with like Josh McDaniels here, which was exactly
low ceiling. I see your therapy is taking effect, and you already being a positive person.
Yeah, I'm doing my best here.
I mean, I would substitute low ceiling with bare minimum.
No, it is. Yeah, it's like well, no, I guess bare minimum would be like
they found a guy who knows what an offense is.
Yeah,
does he know what an offense is in the year 2023? Probably not.
Pretty good at I mean, he was making it happen in Alabama, but he's not somebody who's
Alabama's on. It's
trying to hit the 4th and 6th highest scoring offenses in college football his 2 years there. The first year he was there, his quarterback won the Heisman, Jordan. I hate to tell you.
And what happened the year after that?
They
Jake,
lost.
We talked about this before the show. You lose 2 games in the
I
SEC,
looked it up.
In
those two games they lost, they scored 51 and 39 points.
Yes, I know.
I looked this up.
I'm being facetious. Yes.
I did look this up. It's true. Like, he oversaw one of the more disappointing seasons in the last 10 years for Alabama, which includes losing 2 games barely on like the final play in games you scored 40 plus points and only getting to go to like a second tier bowl game where you like blew out like the sixth ranked team in the nation. Yeah, bad year for Alabama, I know. But like Bill O'Brien though,
that's 1,000% the work of Nick Saban in his years of recruiting.
Exactly.
Bill O'Brien.
So
I can go down there and have Alabama
sure.
a top 10 offense.
Oh, I'm absolutely sure. 110%. But also, if like you hired like whoever is the offensive coordinator with the 49ers, I'd be doing backflips. And when they inevitably lose that guy, they'll probably be exactly in the same position next year too. It just comes with the territory of hiring coaches who are on teams that are competent. It is what it is. You just hope they can bring some level of that competence to you. But it's, again, Joe, we talked about it last week, though. This is not like them venturing outside of the well, Jordan. This is not the Patriots or Bill Belichick bringing in new ideas or new perspective. This is them going to the far, well, except for, the fact that they're going to the far, far different, intellectually different, philosophically diverse Nick Saban pool. Nick Saban talent pool. That, again, of course, is a radical departure from everything that Bill Belichick does and stands for. It's certainly not that. And that again, that's the frustrating thing about it. Like, they're not. This is like a step back to what they were 2 years ago, hopefully.
2 years ago when they missed the playoffs.
No, when they made the playoffs, I'm saying. No. I'm saying Mac Jones.
Was it Cam Newton year 3 years ago?
I'm talking about like the first year with Mac Jones 2 years ago, Jordan.
Oh, when they had the worst
absolutely.
loss and
defensive. It was a defensive performance, so it's fine. It's okay. Yeah. Like yes. When they had like a top 10 offense, by a top 10 offense, I mean the 10th highest scoring offense in the league.
And then which decided to stop scoring the last month of the season.
Yeah,
and
basically.
then got
yep,
smoked.
Hopefully this gets you back to that.
Which may not even be enough anymore compared to
Probably
the Dolphins, the Jets,
probably
the Steelers,
not.
which lived, and the Browns, which may be ascending once again. And
but yeah,
the Broncos, which may get their. Okay.
I know, Jordan. Like yes,
all right,
yeah.
Okay.
Like that's what again. Like I want to just be fair and say this will make them better. This will make them worlds better. Probably the offense will probably look better. But it's
this is true. This is truly the island of misfit toys.
It may just be like it's almost happenstance that this like easy, like this just easy kind of fit solution existed and it happens to be okay. Because otherwise, I'm sure they would have just gone for another easy solution that would be worse. At least Bill O'Brien, I guess, is kind of good and was like looking for a new job at the right time. I guess, which I feel corroborated by. This is the other thing, Jordan. This is something I don't know how to. I've been trying to like wrap my head around for a couple of days now. Because this is coming from because right now Matt Patricia. This was a tweet from Dov Kleiman, and I know I mispronounced that. Yesterday, report Patriots might be parting ways with 2022 de facto offensive coordinator Matt Patricia. Tom Curran reports that he's hearing Patricia might be on his way out now that the Lions are no longer paying his salary. Which, as a reminder, the last few years Matt Patricia's been here, still been on his Lions contract. So the Patriots haven't had to pay him anything. Whatever they'd be paying him would just be subtracted from the amount that the Lions owe him. So in essence, would not add any money to him. That's what's happening with Joe Judge right now, and that's basically what happens with every head coach who gets fired and gets a new job. Well, they still have years on his contract, like Cliff Kingsbury does for the next 5 years from the Cardinals. But I saw that, right? And on one hand, on the surface, want to be happy he's gone. Because Matt Patricia has not been very helpful for this team. I'd made peace with the fact that he'd probably stick around and just do something else that was less important. And I just kind of made peace with the fact that, fine, whatever. If he's, like, lurking around and, like, is, like, going to, like, scouting meetings with Belichick, whatever. Fine. I mean, but the fact he's gone, maybe they actually got rid of him, which, by the way, isn't official up. He doesn't have a contract right now. Maybe but if they actually get rid of him, okay. Good. I'd rather him not be there. I don't think anybody likes him, except for Bill Belichick. But then, Jordan, though, with the way that's worded, right? With the way that it's worded, that Tom Curran reported that he might be on his way out now that the Lions are no longer paying his salary. That almost makes me more upset than if they just kept him here. Because, Jordan, to me, what that very well could say, because it's one thing. It's one thing if this last year was the result, like the whole debacle with the offense, was the result of Belichick just having more faith in a guy that he should have, more faith in a coach that like has been in his system for a long time, more faith in a guy he speaks very highly of, that he's won some Super Bowls with, and Belichick just erroneously had this idea in his head that like a good defensive coach can also be a good offensive coach, and he just got that wrong. You know, he earnestly believed in Matt Patricia, and he just got it way wrong. That's one thing. That's a mistake. That's a mistake that happens to people in all fields, all across the world, every day. Sometimes you put your faith in somebody and they disappoint you, Jordan. I don't know if you ever had that happen to you, Jordan. I don't know if you ever had somebody disappoint you, but it happens. It happens. Whatever. Right? Disaster. Terrible idea. Should have seemed obvious from the start it was a horrible idea. But whatever. You had an idea, you were committed to it. You know, you think you do no wrong because you're Bill Belichick. Fine. I can, on some level, after the fact, after you've remedied the problem, accept that happened. However, if what the real situation is, and what it feels more like now, is it really wasn't that you're Bill Belichick and you loved Matt Patricia. You loved him. I think he's great. I think he's a great guy. I think he's a great coach. You want him around you because he's a great football mind. If it's, well, you liked him because he was cheap. And since he's cheap, you figure you might as well just put him in charge of your offense in your second year with your rookie quarterback, which typically to most teams is a paramount year for your quarterback's first full off season. You put him in charge of it. When again, it has nothing to do. It has less to do with you just genuinely believing in Matt Patricia. And more to do with it being cheap. Oh, that's terrible, Jordan. Oh, that makes it so much worse if that's the case, right? And this is me reading it between the lines here a little bit. This is me but however, they have yet to give him money, and maybe they'll re-sign him tomorrow to go be the assistant head of lunchroom operations. But as of now, they haven't, and as of now, plugged-in people are saying that, maybe they're not so into him now that his contract's over with the Lions, and they'd maybe actually have to pay him. Am I just being psychotic here, Jordan? Because I don't feel like I am. Am I pulling threads that don't belong, or am I on bait? Am I like somewhere with this?
I think you're missing the forest for the trees.
Okay.
In either case, Bill Belichick should be fired regardless.
Oh yeah, absolutely, but that's not happening. We're past that even happening. It's just, but again, like this would be another thing though, Jordan. They just made the easiest path of least resistance decision possible. Like I could go find an offensive coordinator, but Matt's here. I'll have to pay him. Just have him do it. And it's not even to do with you believing in him. He's just cheap. Oh my God, that to me, if that would make it so much worse. Like if we somehow hooked up Bill Belichick to the lie detector and got it. It's like, well, was it that you just believed in him, or was it more that he was cheap and he was around and you didn't feel like calling up all your friends and doing interviews? That's more the former than the latter. I don't even remember which one I said second. If it's the lazy one, oh, that's just even worse. That's even worse. That's way worse. Oh, that's so much more upsetting. You didn't just make a wrong decision that you were confident in. You just kind of just did it because whatever. And I don't know. That's the message I get sent if they don't bring him back, because allegedly Matt Patricia, Jordan, how all year have we heard how he's this great leader of men and how he's this great football mind. But the second you have to pay him, you don't want to actually give him money, which is always how you can infer across all the sports, Jordan. That is how you parse out how Team X or Coach X really feels about player X or Coach X is if they give them money or not. That's how you figure it out. That's how you really know how somebody feels about somebody. I don't know, that's made me mad. It just made me mad. I was trying to make peace with things, Jordan, and instead they do. It's so much worse. Oh my God, it makes me have to relive this whole last 4 months again, Jordan. I have to flash back to the whole thing and be like, wow, the whole time they didn't even buy into this Matt Patricia being the OC idea. They just did it because they were bored. They just didn't feel like finding somebody else. That is so bad. That is so much worse than you just liking him. and like being wrong about it. So that's, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they'll sign him tomorrow, and then I have to calm down about it a little bit. Oh my god, it makes it so much worse. Somehow they made it worse, Jared. Somehow post-humanious they found a way to make like the Matt Patricia play caller tenure feel worse. I don't know how you do that. It's impressive, if anything. But yeah, and also I looked it up. Joe Judge still has like 3 years left on his contract, so he's probably hanging around for a little bit longer. But yeah, no, it is that one made me upset. That one really got to me. So, they're more like lucky than like they just kind of lucked out, I guess, that the Bill O'Brien thing kind of fell into their lap, because if that wasn't falling into their lap, I don't think they would have made that much of an effort to figure it out otherwise. So
it's a master class of failing up.
So yeah, basically. So balls in your court, Bill O'Brien. Again, I at least feel like he has motivation to put in more effort than Bill Belichick's putting in. So get it done, Bob. Be engaged. Thanks in advance.
This team is dead in the
Have
water.
fun, baby.
It's cooked, Jake. It's over.
The offense will probably look semi more competent next year. To what end? Yeah, probably. They're not. Yeah, I can't wait for them to not do anything in free agency. I don't know. It's exciting. It's gonna be exciting. Yeah. I mean, maybe this will be. That's why I say I hope this isn't the biggest story of the offseason, but it very well might be. It's even the quarterback thing. I almost forgot to figure. Even there's been the pattern last year's. Even Mac Jones drafting him wasn't exactly some great effort by them to obtain him. He just fell to them at 15. They just got him, which you'd think is a good thing, that they didn't have to trade up or do anything. But they didn't. If he wasn't there, they probably just would have drafted a quarterback. They are just phoning everything in these days, Jordan. They are really just phoning it all in these days. It is not fun. It is not fun to watch. But Jordan, you want to talk about other things that weren't fun to watch?
What?
The NFL Divisional round. What a snooze fest, Jordan. I was not a fan. I think the wild card weekend was way more fun. This was not a fun one. I don't know. None of these games were good. These games all suck. I just didn't enjoy them.
I disagree.
Oh yeah, well, Jaguars Chiefs was fine, because it was nice to see the Chiefs hang around. Giants Eagles was horrible. Bengals Bills I actually slept through, but I went back and watched some of it after. And we can talk about. I guess that one's interesting to talk about, because that involves a relevant team. But even the game was the Bengals were just kind of hard in control the whole time, and 49ers Cowboys was close the whole time, but man, was that game a snooze fest. But Jordan, do you have any big takeaways from any of these games? Really, go nuts. If you got anything.
So let's start with. I don't remember which games were played on which days. I think the Chiefs Jaguars was the first.
That was the
Saturday
first
game.
one. Yep.
God damn, Trevor Lawrence is going to be good.
He's very good. He might cap out at being the 5th best quarterback in the AFC, but he's very good.
Every once in a while you thought this guy is overrated, overhyped to high hell, and then nope, he's kind of a dude.
Absolute stud. I bet the under on that game though when I hit it. That was the most exciting thing about that game for me.
And then Agnew he fumbled the ball, and then things just sort of
they but it's okay. It's okay that they fell apart at the end. They were never supposed to be there. Of course they couldn't cross the finish line because they were playing a team that is wildly better than them.
Even then, but the Chiefs didn't really beat them. They beat themselves.
Oh, Jordan, what it's we always talk about. Beating yourself says as much about not beating yourself says as much about you as beating your opponent.
I guess, yeah.
But I get what you say. Exactly. The Chiefs didn't make the mistakes because they've been there.
Yes, this is true.
But no, Jaguars are ahead of schedule. No, it's nothing. I mean, more importantly, like they're legit because they have a quarterback. Like Trevor Lawrence is legit. Again, might probably at best is like the 5th best quarterback in the AFC right now, which is kind of nutty to think about, but still legit. Maybe 6th. I don't know where your Justin Herbert rankings are right now, but no, it's
Justin Herbert is making me hard to like him.
He's, yeah.
That's of course more of his coach than
but
his.
He's got to do something at some point though. He's got to. You only get the excuses for so long. But that game, Giants Eagles. Giants weren't supposed to be here, so good for them.
Brian Daboll, Coach of the Year, Philadelphia. I'm glad to see them revert back to September form. That's quite frightening, but it should be a hell of a game in
I
Philadelphia
thought that would be a trap
Sunday.
game for them for some reason. What a stupid take that was.
It had all the makings of a trap game.
What a
Giants were punching way above their weight class. Eagles were wounded coming off the bye.
Nope. Guess they're just not the Eagles anymore. Good. I hope the Giants don't turn around and give Daniel Jones and Saquon Barkley a bunch of money.
That is yes.
That's their trap game. Don't give them a bunch of money and cap out and not do anything again.
And then we have what was it? The Bills Bengals.
Well, that's the game to talk about. Like that's like the most interesting one. At least like I think generally it is, and also I think like from our perspective as purveyors of Patriots news, that's the Bills' problems came back to bite them, Jordan. It kind of stuck up on them last week, but they got through it. They got some issues. They gotta iron out the kinks there. They gotta really iron out the kinks. Like
hey, man. Sean McDermott and Bill Belichick should be in the unemployment line.
Jordan, that's you go too far with it.
I'm not going too far.
You're going a little far,
I'm not going too far. I'm not going too far.
We argued about this a lot yesterday.
It's been 6 years.
It's been 6 years of him taking that franchise from being like a laughing stock to being like a contender. It's been 6 years of like
now the Bills they can go get a Sean McVay clone and they'll be just as good.
In fairness, it's 6 years. It's not like he like took over like a high flying perennial double digit win team and it just kind of kept the train going. He took that team from like the brink of irrelevancy and has turned them into like a contender. But we talk about this a lot. That I even think with the Bills, the issue is so much less like a talent thing. Like there are holes, obviously, right? Like there are like every team has holes. Like there are things that they could address. Like they could like up.
Well, not every team.
I mean, every team has holes. Like even the great
49ers don't have holes.
49ers do not have. That's fair. Every other team but the 49ers.
Eagles don't have holes.
Eagles do not have holes. Those are the two that don't have holes. Every other team has holes. Maybe their hole is the quarterback. That's TBD. But every other team has holes. Besides maybe the Eagles and maybe the 49ers, or maybe their hole is the biggest hole. I don't know. We're gonna find out. Anyway,
the hole is expectations.
That's interesting. All righty. But the hole is like the hubris of Kyle Shanahan. But either way, the Bills have holes. They could defensively. They have some. I mean, Von Miller being out, and they had a couple of defenders out. Like, has some holes. Maybe they could use a little bit more on the O-line. Maybe they could use a better number 2 receiver than Gabe Davis. There are holes, right? But I think for the Bills, the issue, it's just so much more like philosophical than it has like anything to do with the talent. Because they have plenty of talent. Like they're not less talented than this Bengals team. Like I don't believe that. Like I don't think that last year. I don't think that this year. They're not like wholly less talented than the Chiefs. Like these are all teams that are like well, I guess the Bengals aren't paying Joe Burrow a bunch of money yet, but still, like these are teams that aren't like.
They will be.
Oh, they will be. And the Bengals operate on a pretty tight budget, so they've traditionally not spent a bunch on that team. So that's why That's why T. Higgins should probably trade him to save the cap space of the Patriots. But it's the thing. It's the thing that's happened with the Bills all year when they haven't looked good. I don't know. They just refuse. I don't think it's a matter of they can't. I really just don't think it is. They just, like, refuse to do anything all year than just uber lean on Josh Allen to be their entire offense. And that can work for a lot of the year. Right? That can work a lot. Just Josh Allen on his own is enough to, beat 25 out of 32 NFL teams probably. Certainly enough to beat the Patriots. Certainly, a lot of teams that'll get you by. Probably not, but we've seen the last couple years, though, not enough to actually get you by, like, the 2 teams in your conference that matter. Get you by the Bengals. Get you by the Chiefs. I would assume not enough to get you by the Eagles or 49ers. If you had gotten so far, it's just, I don't know, it's like we talk about it every week. They just, like, I don't want to just boil it down to, like, run the ball more. But they just it's like, again, they just refuse to have, like, any balance in their offense. That's what's killing them. Like, more than anything, they make themselves so easy to defend. And, like, I mean, you talked yesterday, you think the O-line kind of sold them, but it's also, it's like, you help an O-line, Jordan? Like, if your quarterback doesn't hold onto the ball because he's trying to make the sickest play you've ever seen every single play. And there have been points in the season, Jordan, the easiest example was actually the first game of the year when they played the Rams, where, like, Josh Allen was getting the ball out quickly a lot of the time. They were in a rhythm. They were running the ball fairly well. And it's just like, I don't know. The further they got into the year, they just kept moving further and further away from it. Like, and Josh Allen's always had bad habits, right? And that's why I used to really not like Josh Allen, because he has some very clear, very obvious bad habits. But over the years, he's just, the good things he does so significantly outweigh, like, the occasional boneheadedness or the occasional, like, him just being, like, a wild beast. Elements of it. It just outweighs it. It just all outweighs it, right? Like, to an nth degree. But they gotta figure it out. Like, I don't know. Like, and, like, this isn't like, and, like, they
it's
might,
all
like,
coaching, baby.
What?
It's all coaching, baby.
Well, that's what, a lot of people pointed out, last year he barely turned the ball over. This year without Brian Daboll, I think Josh Allen led the league in total turnovers. I don't believe he led the league.
Total turnovers, yes. Interceptions, Dak Prescott did.
Yes. No, I know he didn't lead the league in interceptions, but, and even, like, last year, he actually threw less interceptions this year than he did last year. But, I don't know. They just, like, the way Josh Allen plays doesn't lend itself to consistency, efficiency. But I don't know. Like, I think it's so much more like, could they have, like, a better running back than Devin Singletary? Yeah. They gotta go find some kid in the 4th round who's better and younger, But if they had a better running back, you think they'd be running the ball more now? No, they refuse to. And, like, that's the reckoning they're gonna have to have, because right now, like, especially for the team that came into the year being the favorite, Jordan. Remember that? Remember when the Bills were the favorite?
Yeah.
It's 3 years in a row now. I mean, like, you're kind of letting, you're letting kind of the Chiefs and the Bengals get a little distance on you here. Like, you're letting them kind of encroach on you. You might be letting Miami sneak up on you. Like, I don't know, man. Like, they just, like, I've been a bit of a Bills doubter from time to time over the last year or two, and it's I don't know. They just refuse to that's the biggest problem. They will not balance their offense. They just
that's a failure of Sean McDermott.
It's failure of him. It's a failure of Ken Dorsey. Like, I don't, like, maybe, like, he gets another year in and they figure it out, because I mean, it's Ken Dorsey's first year.
How long? How much longer?
I mean, like, it's Ken Dorsey. Well, maybe this is a wake up call. Like, nothing
was
makes
last
it.
year not a wake up call.
What?
So was last year not a wake up call?
Well, in fairness, last year they lost because they let Patrick Mahomes score in like 13 seconds, and then they brought in like Von Miller and a bunch of other defenders. Just like, oh, there you go, they figured it out. And now this year, new problem, and nothing. And again, like, it's not, it's not like they got like blown out in like mega upset here. Like, this is like the 3rd best team in the AFC beating the 2nd best team. But I mean, they got to figure that out though. Like if they want to actually, and like their window could be closing sooner rather than later because Stephon Diggs is about to turn 30. They have like a couple of like Roger Saffold's a free agent. I know that Jordan Poyer's a free agent.
Their entire secondary is a free agent. They're already over the cap for next year.
You know, they
the big cap hits for Stephon Diggs and Josh Allen. They're coming up.
Yep.
It's
And not like those aren't things that like you can't like maneuver, by the way. Like I don't even want to like be like doom and gloom about that because I'll be honest, I feel like that's like disingenuous because I know that they can like probably like just convert some of like their money to signing bonus money and like figure the cap stuff out. But like you have guys leaving, like it's like it's yeah. I mean that's the value of having a great quarterback, by the way, is even if that does happen, you can kind of figure it out somehow and still be in it. But that's I don't know. They're beating themselves right now, it feels like.
But Jay, they can kick Sean McDermott to the curb and just get Sean Payton. They could trade to Sean.
Oh, that's one. All right.
Instead of Sean Payton being baited into the Broncos.
Okay, that's one.
Sending up to Buffalo where
I think
more talent, more love, and.
Oh, okay. All right. That's okay. That's something.
No. That's a team right there.
That's something. All right.
Sean Payton on the Bills truther.
All right. That's okay. Yeah, you were like the one person I've seen in the world calling for Sean McDermott's head. That is a take though.
Because
no.
Their offensive line's been bad the entire time that he's been there. It's like I think Devin Singletary has been there the entire time. Sean McDermott's been no.
Don't like him.
LaShawn McCoy was there for a few years. But I think
that was with Rex Ryan, I believe. Those were like the Rex Ryan years with Sean. Doesn't matter. Running backs are super interchangeable. Doesn't matter. Committing to the running game.
Devin Singletary's been there for a while. I'll say that.
Who cares? I don't care. Running backs are all interchangeable in the same thing.
And like the same problems emerge, the inconsistency, the over reliance on Josh Allen.
They gotta figure it out.
They're a much more put together form of the Chargers.
They gotta put that together. They gotta figure that out. They gotta figure that.
Like imagine the Chargers, but instead it just doesn't matter what the coach does. Josh Allen,
it's
just throws the ball 70 yards while scrambling to his left side.
They gotta figure that. They gotta iron that out. Speaking of teams that should probably be trying to get Sean Payton, that 49ers Cowboys game was boring. That game sucked. Everybody in that game was bad. I don't even want to.
Brock Purdy.
Except for Brock Purdy, pretty good. Even then, even the 49ers are kind of boring. I was bored. It wasn't fun. Like last week I talked about the 49ers like my favorite team to watch right now. I was bored. I didn't enjoy this one. Like I even want to like pig pile on Dak more. I want to pig pile on like
I do.
Mike McCarthy. See, I'm like I'm like an anti-Mike McCarthy truther right now. That's where I'm at.
They both need to go.
I'm like, I think they need to hire a coach.
I heard in the sports media today there was some spicy Aaron Rodgers, Dak Prescott trades.
I don't even think that fixes it though without fixing the coaching thing. Like let's get like a real coach. Like I don't know.
But
like
works out cap wise.
Their coaching situation is just put like a cavalcade of yes men for the owner.
Yes.
So it's like I've seen Mike McCarthy be with Aaron Rodgers, Jordan. I've seen that flounder plenty of times. Like I don't need to do that.
They won a Super Bowl 12 years ago.
I don't need it. I don't know. I don't need it. I don't need it.
They should fire Mike McCarthy and they should trade Dak Prescott.
They're
not going anywhere with Dak.
The coach, Dak, maybe. I don't know. Dak's never had like a.
I don't want this. I don't want this Dak positivity.
He said Jason Garrett and then Mike McCarthy. It's like
I don't want to hear this from you, sir. All right,
I get it.
Kirk Cousins.
I know. It's just
Chase Keenum.
Game was so late.
What's one of the other guys you like?
I never liked Case Keenum. I was never a Case Keenum truther. I literally today when I was talking to you, used Case Keenum.
Nathan Peterman.
I was a Nathan Peterman truther for a little bit there. That's true. I use Case Keenum as a negative example as a negative to use as a pro for Bill O'Brien. Thank you very much, because I'm pretty sure he won a playoff game with Case Keenum at one point.
He did.
He was in the mix of like 7 quarterbacks who started in one season for the Texans. like Brock Osweiler and Brian Hoyer and maybe he's coming here for Hoyer. Maybe that's the plan.
I didn't even put together
That's
the
definitely
math.
not it. But
I didn't. Brian Hoyer. He's about to have a Geno Smith renaissance. Boy.
But no, I don't know.
I'm invested.
No, you see, you missed A.J. McCarron. That's the one I would have used. I was an A.J. McCarron truther at a point. That's when I was a truther about. That's the guy I was a truther about for a while. Oh yeah,
You picked the worst.
That was a real. Hey, A.J. McCarron would have won a playoff game. All right, if Vontaze Burfict didn't rip Antonio Brown's head off for some reason, he had to have been.
Yeah.
No, excuse me. No, actually, he would have won a playoff game if Jeremy Hill didn't fumble the ball on the kneel down. All right, A.J. McCarron would have had a playoff game under his belt, which would be something.
Dak Prescott needs to.
I think he has the same amount of playoff wins as Dak Prescott, actually.
You want to know who else has the same amount of playoff wins as Dak Prescott?
Who?
Brock Purdy.
Very true.
You want to know who else does?
Who?
Trevor Lawrence.
Very true. Very true.
Neither of those guys are making 48
I just sometimes I see Dak Prescott play, and he's just so good for prolonged stretches of time.
Get rid of him.
They got to get a real coach, and I bet they won't. And I know they won't.
He's ass.
I fully understand that they
go, Jake.
Yeah, they need to get new owners. What they need to get.
Yes, but
that's the first thing. They need to get like a general manager.
Yes.
Like Dak's low down the totem pole on the Cowboys. The Cowboys thing is don't Jordan. This is what Jerry Jones wants. He's sitting in the submarine.
Jake, this is the brainwashing.
Oh no, you're falling for the brainwashing, sir.
No, this is like Soldier Boy when he hears Russian.
No.
You're about to blow up a building right now.
This is you. You are Soldier Boy when he hears the Russian song. You are because you were brain. Dak Prescott doesn't have the resources to put you in the re-education camp and brainwash you. Jerry Jones does, Jordan. You are. The
Cowboys average.
You are coming at
this year, Jake.
You are coming at the fellow working man in defense of the billionaire class. Jordan.
I'm not defense of the billionaire class. Jerry Jones looked him in the eyes and he said, "I overpaid you," and he was correct. He was correct.
But if they had a general manager who wouldn't do that, then Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be right, but they're not winning with Dak.
They got to figure out the coaching thing first.
They got to finish coaching, quarterback.
They got to do the coaching.
Jerry Jones.
Maybe it's also because I don't know how you figured out the Dak thing. You're kind of locked into the Dak thing. There's not really much you can do about that right now.
Trading from Aaron Rodgers.
That doesn't make anything better.
Steely trade where the cap makes sense.
It doesn't work. You know what? Nope. The Aaron Rodgers Mike McCarthy reunion. Not jumping up and down for that one.
Wouldn't that be the worst possible outcome for Aaron Rodgers though?
Oh, Aaron Rodgers on the Cowboys every week? Oh, are you kidding me?
With Mike McCarthy again?
Oh my God. It would be the worst. Be the worst thing ever. Terrible. Be one of the darker timelines for me myself. But I don't know. I'm still a Dak Prescott truther a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be fair. There are bones I want to pick more, and I'm willing to defend Dak Prescott to further my agenda against other people. I'm willing to. You see, Jordan, I'm willing to sacrifice some lesser takes to feed into my bigger takes, Jordan. That's
you can have all the takes, Jake. This isn't a zero-sum game.
What'd you say? It's a zero.
I said this isn't a zero-sum game.
I am. When I'm tiering the Cowboys' problems, it's like Dak Prescott, Mike McCarthy, then way up here's Jerry Jones, way on the top of it. Like in the end, like anything they do that seems competent is still just a facade when Jerry Jones is the puppet master behind the entire thing. It's just a facade. They got Sean Payton facade.
How long must we suffer, Jake?
They signed Tom Brady facade.
The man goes to the playoffs and he'll just choke.
Yeah. Then they'll get somebody else.
He can't help himself.
See, then they'll get somebody else and he'll look pretty good. And then they'll just have like a suck coach. And then we'll start hating him too. He'll be like, this guy sucks too. Like they'll bring in like whomever And like they'll be pretty good for a minute. It'll be like, wow, aren't they better than Dak? And then they'll start losing playoff games, and they'll start looking like a choker, and they'll have like Brandon Staley as a head coach, and we'll be like, how'd this happen again? Well, this guy sucks. Clearly, it's getting rid of this quarterback that'll solve, who like plays at an above average level, but they keep losing in big moments. This one's the one who, if they get rid of, it'll solve all the problems. And like by this point, it's like 2045, and Jerry Jones is still alive somehow, and actually looks younger, and we're really starting to ask some questions.
Hey man, Dak is he's the worst version of Kirk Cousins.
You know,
because Kirk Cousins has won more playoff games than Dak Prescott.
He how many of them against the Saints though? At a certain point, you gotta get a half point on those. But you know, it'll be like 2050, and Jerry Jones is like ripped now. We're like, what is happening? What unholy terrors is he unleashed? But every time you ask him about it, you're like, hey, Jerry Jones, why are you alive? You're 120. And he just starts telling like a folksy yarn about his time as a boy in Arkansas, and you just get distracted, and you just forget what you were doing. He's like, oh, well, you know, back when I was working at my father's grocery store, his dad owned a grocery store. I read a long article about Jerry Jones recently. I was working at the grocery store. My dad used to say, a life lived well is better than a life lived long. Mm-hmm. And then you just got lost in like his like somehow dead but also incredibly vibrant eyes, and you're like, oh, what was I doing? Are you a vampire, Jerry Jones? What's happening?
Look, Jake, I want to tell you that I witnessed Skip Bayless throw his.
I did see him throw his Dak Prescott jersey away. It's true, and I think he is. I think it is simply the scapegoat, Jordan.
He's not the scapegoat.
He is
a problem.
He is very much a scapegoat.
He's a lesser problem.
It is.
I mean, if anything, Mike McCarthy's the scapegoat.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to inform you.
They're both scapegoat. Fair enough. I just one of whom is a scapegoat who's far easier to move on from. But you know, they won that wild card game, so they probably won't. Unfortunately. But we have, I think both conference title games are good. They're not surprising conference title games. That's maybe that's lacking. There wasn't like a Cinderella story this playoffs.
Yeah. I think the Jaguars coming back from
a little
30 points.
I mean, that was the best. Yeah, it's the best. That's the best thing. Otherwise, like nothing like super eventful or like super unexpected to happen. I don't know.
Well, a lot of people weren't expecting the Vikings to lose, which
that was like
I called because
that was like a 5-4 matchup.
Their time was up.
That was like a 5-4 matchup. That wasn't like, ooh, my goodness, juggernaut the Vikings.
Their time was done.
But I think it was actually a 6-3 matchup somehow. But you know what I mean. It had the energy of a 5-4 matchup. But the one in the 2 seed and the one in the 3 seed are playing. Incredible theater, this NFL. But these are both gonna be good games, I think. What are your picks for the Super Bowl matchup, Jordan? What's your Super Bowl matchup?
Ooh, I gotta run it back, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs 49ers 2.
I'm into it.
Maybe 3. I don't know. Has there been another one? Was there like a Chiefs 49ers Super Bowl in the 80s?
Could have been. I don't know. I want to pick the Eagles almost solely because I like Jalen, and I'm still not like 100% like locked in on Jalen Hurts, but like obviously like Jalen Hurts is better than Brock Purdy.
No,
But
I mean,
I'm fully ready to make also, I guess Jimmy G's like not playing. Like they've already kind of said it's probably not happening. But
is he better than Brock Purdy?
Jalen Hurts, yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, pretty sure. Not you're way closer to this than I thought you'd be though. This is interesting. I thought you might push. I thought you might push back on the Jalen Hurts slander, if anything. But okay, all right, this is interesting.
Is he?
I think so.
There's something about that Brock Purdy kid.
But also I think Mac Jones would be doing the same thing.
I mean, of course, Kyle Shanahan is a genius.
That's what I'm saying. Like I also
probably like an orangutan can like be successful in that offense.
That's what I'm saying. I'm also positive that Mac Jones would probably be playing just as good right now in that system. I think that says all I think about Brock Purdy.
But like, there's something about the fact he's just unperturbed. He just doesn't care.
He is. He's not even like making that many hard throws, but he sure is just hanging out.
He's not making throws. He's not making mistakes. Dude's
But
just on a
Jalen
9-game
Hurts
stretch.
is very good. No, like
yeah.
I'm not slandering Jalen Hurts to that. Jalen Hurts is like extremely good. Jalen Hurts is.
No, I saw a tweet from his agent, and she says that she needs a Brinks truck.
Oh, well, they might not give him that Brinks truck. Oh, you know, maybe.
It's his time is up in the summer.
No, he's got another year in his contract.
That's the time to resign him.
You know, or
That's the
time to
to
draft another guy and restart the clock.
No.
Maybe. Maybe. That still might be the model, Jordan. We're going to see. If the 49ers win the Super Bowl, that don't seem like a brilliant thing to do. Oh, kidding me? If the 49ers win the Super Bowl, that'll be the model now.
No. No, you give Jalen Hurts his $200 million guaranteed and laugh at the Ravens when they refuse to give Lamar the same, and then when Joe Burrow gets like a baseball contract,
$1 yeah, absolutely.
When they give Joe Burrow like $300 million guaranteed over 7 years,
maybe they don't, I don't know. We're gonna find out.
Jalen Hurts, if you're watching this,
the AFC.
I got the numbers for Brinks.
So you're like, okay, you're like, they gotta give him $200 million, but also I'm not sure if he's better than Brock Purdy.
I mean, I was being facetious about that. I mean, yes, he's better than Brock Purdy. 100%, yes.
Like laser. Okay, all right. Well, anyway,
yes, he is.
The NFC is the conference of building the roster, and the AFC is the quarterback of is the conference of quarterbacks apparently.
Now, if the Eagles beat the 49ers, then beat the Chiefs or the Bengals, buddy, 200 is going to be a deal.
Maybe.
It's going to be a bargain.
I don't know. Maybe you think about it if you're them.
No, you don't.
Maybe you think about it.
You don't do it. No,
I don't know.
You signed a check.
What if they lose? What if they lose this week?
You still signed the check.
I don't know. I think you think about it.
You signed the check.
I think you think about it. You start the process over. Draft somebody this year.
No.
Get somebody in like the second round again. Keep it going.
No.
Might be the wave. I don't know.
No. We're not. Kyle Shanahan does his own quirky things. We're gonna take our guy and build around him and Devontae Smith and wherever else they can get.
I'm saying you can't get all those guys. You're paying Jalen Hurts a bunch of money.
Hey man, that's the price of doing business.
Maybe it doesn't have to be.
I don't like your tone about this. I don't like your position in this conversation.
It's brewing. I
don't like this.
This might be a thing.
I don't like this.
The low investment QB strat might be a thing. I don't know.
I don't like this.
To just have a quarterback with like 1 billion wide receivers. I don't know.
I don't like this. This is NFC. This is based in NFC pilled right now.
Well, I mean, I'm saying if like Jalen Hurts is like a borderline guy, right? Like you're not like Joe Burrow. You peg like he's like the second best quarterback in the NFL. You're like that guy. You got like Jalen Hurts, and you're like
Jalen Hurts isn't like the 6th.
Yeah, 6th ain't the second. 6th ain't the second.
Okay, all right.
It's like maybe the 10th or 9th.
Okay,
second.
Jake, you cook on this one, but I'm telling you, this is a bad take.
I wouldn't say it's the second. I mean, 6th.
I'm gonna tell you, this is a bad take, Jake. You can have it, but I'm telling you, it's bad.
There's Mahomes, there's Burrow, there's Allen, Lamar. I'd say is better than him.
And then Jalen Hurts.
I don't know about that. Trevor Lawrence, I might say is better. Lawrence has been cooking.
Okay. So we're at 5.
At 5. It's Herbert. People do love Justin Herbert.
He's better than Justin Herbert.
I don't know. Justin Herbert is very good.
What is this Jalen Hurts slander? What is this? Where's this coming from?
We both like radically fluctuated positions, like back and forth within this conversation. You know, you got Kirk. So now that was slander. That was just slander.
Kirk 30, Perk 30.
Yeah, I'm just saying, Jordan. We'll find it. We're gonna find out. That's the beauty of playing the games. We get to find out. If he goes to a Super Bowl, my opinion of him has to go up. Of course it does. That'll go up. Then we reconsider. That's the beauty of it. I'm saying, like, as of this moment, I probably wouldn't give him a gigantic mega contract, but he still has like a conference title game to play, so it's good. It works. It's good, but I'm just saying the Eagles have been able to build a sick roster because they're not paying him.
They have to pay him. They have to.
I'm just.
They have to pay him, or they have to go draft Caleb Williams. These are their options.
Do they have to draft Caleb Williams to get Jalen Hurts? Do you have Jalen Hurts in the second round?
Like if they can get Caleb Williams, then yeah, sure.
Well, why? What if you just get somebody in the second round? If you get the same production out of him, you can just keep building your roster out.
Are you sure Jalen Hurts isn't a running back? I think you're confused. I think you think he's a running back.
No, he's very good. It's just I don't know.
I know it gets confusing because he runs a lot rather than throws.
Well, come on, Jordan. Don't be slandering him like that. Jesus Christ. I don't know. Like we talked about last week, Jordan. It might be the model.
It's not the model.
It might be. I don't.
It's not the model. It's not. It's the model. It's the model for the 49ers, but not.
I mean, it's tough though because if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, it also proves that maybe that's the model. It's very circular. If they win, it proves that Jalen Hurts is very good, but also proves maybe this is the model. That's the fun bit. That'll be the fun. That's the most fun outcome. Then it proves both. I don't know if you guys not like a top 4, top 5 guy, maybe you don't pay him. I don't know.
What?
I don't know why you're
saying. That's insane.
I don't think it's insane.
That's a crazy take.
I don't think it's that crazy.
It's crazy.
It depends if we have to pay him. Are you going to pay him $50 million?
Dude's like, okay, if you're not one of the probably the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game,
maybe not.
That's
maybe
what
you
the
don't
top
invest
5
like
in the NFL is right now, just talent-wise.
Don't invest like 5 extremely talented players worth of assets into that guy. Just get a quarterback instead. I don't know. Or Mahomes will win.
He is their quarterback. What are you talking?
Or Mahomes will win the Super Bowl, and we're like, well, just have the best quarterback in the league. That's the model. That's still the model.
What is this take? What is this? Where's this coming from?
I don't know.
Where did
come from? What's happening? So what the 49ers did, what the Eagles, what the two teams in the NFC Championship game did. It's how they built their teams, and it's working.
Wait, hold. I gotta check the temperature of my GPU because your take is that hot.
It's I don't think it's that hot of a take.
Jake, you gotta open up Task Manager. Check the temperature of your 26.
No, I deleted a lot. I deleted a lot of video files, so my got a lot of space on my hard drive for these takes. Don't worry about it.
So too busy encoding that take.
You don't.
That's a bad take, Jake.
I don't think
crazy.
it's a bad take. That's a take I'm brewing. I'm not saying it's the model. I'm saying we're gonna find.
Hurts.
I'm just saying we're gonna find out if it's the model.
like they're just gonna find another Jalen Hurts.
Maybe. I mean, they did it once. They didn't invest. I mean, again, he was a second-round pick. Like he's good, but like. Alabama moved on from him for Tua. Like, I think Tua sucks. Like,
Jalen's a lot better than Tua.
He's good. Would he look as good if he didn't have, like, Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown and, like, 3 all-pros on his offensive line and Dallas Gobert? Like, all these guys would he look as good?
Look at the draw.
Well, it's not look at the that's how they built their team, Jordan!
And they're going to have to pay him.
Well, then they can't have all those guys, and maybe it's not worth it to not have all those guys to keep Jalen Hurts. Maybe they just slide in another quarterback.
That's crazy.
You know, we talked about it, Jordan. You got to either have elite weapons or the quarterback.
This is untrue.
I don't know.
Both the Chiefs, the Bills, the Bengals. They all have both the quarterback.
But Jalen Hurts isn't those guys. Like Jalen Hurts isn't.
But he's two people removed.
That's a big gap. You see, you're making a mistake. You're making a mistake of thinking it's just an equal gap.
And Trevor Lawrence and maybe Justin Herbert away.
See, you're making the mistake of thinking that the gap between each quarterback is an equal gap. You see, that's a fallacy.
I mean, I recognize that it's exponential, but like.
So why pay the same you have to pay for those guys?
He's easily the best quarterback in the NFC. Easily.
Yeah, and like but why
pay him?
Why pay him the same as Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, and Joe Burrow when you can not and invest in other stuff?
Because who else do you have?
You find another guy and you slide him into like a Ferrari, like they've done with Jalen Hurts. I'm not saying they should. I'm saying like that might be what bears out here. Like maybe that's the model, is what I'm saying. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm saying it might be. I'm saying like it's in like.
And you want to lecture me about my Dak takes about and throwing the working man under the bus.
Well, if Dak Prescott was on this Eagles team making $700,000 a year, he'd probably be getting very similar results.
He wouldn't.
I probably would. He'd had competent coaching.
Jalen Hurts has won just as many playoff games.
I know, and Jalen Hurts is making no money. So why pay him like they had to pay Dak and then let your roster atrophy around him? Like it doesn't.
you assume the roster has to atrophy.
Yes, well, we'll have to because I'm going to be investing 40 times as money. More than I'll be investing 50 times as much money into him. So yes, it would absolutely atrophy. The Chiefs had to pay Mahomes, and then they had to move Tyreek Hill as part of it because they didn't have the money.
That fucking matter. They're still leading the
Exactly,
NFL
because
in every
he's Patrick
conceivable
Mahomes,
statistic.
and he's worth it. He's worth it.
You tell me Tyreek Hill? Like Tyreek Hill was the determining factor of that offense?
No, but I'm saying they had to move on from players to do that.
Tyreek Hill, Jalen Hurts.
Tyreek Hill's like the third best receiver in the
The guy who
NFL.
throws it. I don't know, Jake. There's something not clicking.
I'm
with this
saying when
take
you
for
pay
me.
the quarterback, you have to start moving on for like you see what happened with the Bills we were talking about. They're losing guys now because the cap hits are coming up. And Josh Allen's worth it. That's worth it. I don't know. I don't know about if Jalen Hurts is yet. I don't know if he's quite like on that level yet. And I think I've seen a lot of teams.
This is slander.
I'm just
of
like a
the
lot of
highest
teams
order.
have paid quarterbacks that were like almost in the echelon of those top guys, but weren't quite. And then once you start paying them, your margin for error shrinks in your roster. It happens all the time.
This is slander.
Remember when Derek Carr was an MVP candidate, Jordan?
This is slander.
Remember when Derek Carr was like an MVP candidate? Remember when Carson Wentz was an MVP candidate? Just saying it happens.
This is slander.
Just saying you gotta be careful with it.
But people actually like Jalen Hurts.
People like Derek Carr at the time.
Well, people still do like Derek Carr.
Yeah.
Just Josh McDaniels doesn't
They
like
feel
Derek
bad
Carr.
for Derek Carr.
Like it's not that Derek Carr is unlikable. He's just an average dude, and he never pretended to be anything else.
Yeah, he was an MVP.
Like Derek Carr always was what he was.
They didn't give him average dude money though.
Well, yeah, I mean they paid him the tax for being friendly.
Yeah. So yeah, why do that? I'm just saying.
This is Curry. This is.
Well, I don't know. Should the 49ers give
the
Brock
hottest-
Purdy
the
a bunch of
hottest
money if he
take.
was a free agent right now? Of course not. It'd be stupid.
All right.
I'm just saying.
Goes to
It
Super
might
Bowl
be
and
the
back,
model.
they're going to have to pull up in the Brinks truck.
Oh, I don't think
Telling
you
you,
should. I
Jake.
don't know. Maybe they should.
They
Let's
have to
find
pull it
out.
up.
Like if they like win this game against the 49ers and it's like because like Jalen Hurts is like running all over the place and making all these like sick plays, again, they got to play the games. The evaluation of Jalen Hurts isn't done yet. I'm just
What do you mean? Did you just didn't watch an Eagle game?
No, I did.
This
And
season?
They look good. And he's like
You
he's
just
good.
didn't watch one.
And this whole offense is also really, really, really good. And I don't know if this is happening like because of him or if he's just like kind of along for the ride with this team.
Like did you
I
not
did.
see when he was out for a couple weeks and they completely fell apart?
Yeah.
Did you miss that?
You got to have somebody better than Gardner Minshew in there, but
I mean, your backup's the backup.
yeah, well, that's my point.
If
they moved on from Jalen Hurts, they get somebody better than their backup, you'd assume.
I mean, same thing about Anthony Brown and Lamar
exactly.
Jackson.
You'd have somebody better. You wouldn't go into if you were actually moving on. You'd have a better plan. We talked about this last week. That's my entire. Yes, like they'd have somebody better
Jake,
than who's.
This is such a bad take.
It's not a terrible take. It's not a terrible take, Jordan.
Take.
It might
Terrible take.
Tides might be a changing if the quarterback contracts inflate too much. Might be.
There is no tides that are changing.
Might be. I don't know. Again, two
This is an
of the
arms race,
teams.
Jake, you spend or you get left behind.
The two of the teams well, I'm saying you figure out the quarterback and you're able to spend everywhere else. You're able to spend.
I mean, yes, because you have to pay them.
Yeah, I'm saying instead of committing 30% of your salary cap to a player, you might feel like you're able to replace.
Well, yeah, all right. If you think they can replace Jalen Hurts,
I don't know. Maybe they. I'm saying let's find out. Let's see how special Jalen Hurts is. I mean, again, like if they like win this game because of him, then yeah, like the needle moves more.
Okay.
Just right now, it's like I don't know. I haven't seen Jalen Hurts go out there with a roster that was fielded around having to pay him 30% of the salary cap.
Okay.
What were they doing last year before they were able to add all these weapons?
No.
I'm just saying.
You got it.
Just
You got
saying.
it, Jake.
It's something.
Dude, I mean, I'm gonna have you committed to the loony bin.
I'm just saying, if he goes out, then
all right. If Jalen Hurts just grows on trees, I guess. I mean, if that was the case, why does every team have a Jalen Hurts?
I don't know.
I mean, why are the Redskins? I mean, not the Redskins, the fucking
Jordan.
Commanders.
I don't know.
Why are they fucking around with Taylor Heineke then? And Jalen Hurts are just
genuinely, I have no idea.
They're so easily replaceable.
I really don't
they
know
just
why.
plug and play a quarterback.
I don't know.
Because that's just something every team that's capable of doing. Because they have a Kyle Shanahan.
I don't think every team
the most prolific offensive mind of the 21st century.
They have Nick Sirianni in Philly. He's looking like a winner. Looking like a winner of a guy.
Next topic, Jake. Next topic, man.
Wow, Nick Sirianni slander coming from Jordan. That's crazy.
He's no Kyle Shanahan, and that's why they should
He
sign
might
Jalen
be.
Hurts. That's why.
We'll see if the track record plays out. Let's find out. Well, the Red Sox signed a shortstop. Traded for a shortstop today. They traded for Adalberto Mondesi from the Royals. They traded Josh Taylor for him, and no, I think the Red Sox traded a player to be named later. One of them traded a player to be named later, which tells you it's a name to look out for. But yeah, they traded for a shortstop who last year played 15 games, excuse me. The year before that played 35. The year before that played 59. But, Jordan.
I mean, Drake, it doesn't matter. It's just a plug and play.
Absolutely,
That
get Jalen Hurts there. Just get a Jalen. I was gonna say.
Just get Jalen Hurts.
I was gonna say, Jordan. He's very fast.
Xander Bogarts come everywhere. That's why you don't have to pay $110 million for one.
If you weren't paying Jalen Hurts, if the Red Sox weren't paying Jalen Hurts $50 million, they could have paid Xander Bogarts. See. You see? Exactly. I never understood why they're doing that. But yeah, he's very fast. Like Jalen Hurts, a very good runner. Excellent runner.
I think you have him confused for running back, Jake.
My mistake. So. Yeah, never mind.
Is this like the Lamar discourse all over again?
I don't know what this is. This is technically just, I gave you this take last week, Jordan. You didn't push back on it nearly this hard. We literally brought up this exact same take when we were talking about the Ravens. And you're like, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they shouldn't do that. I literally laid this exact same scenario out. But like Jalen Hurts, you're like, no! The worst take you've ever had! Which is me, it's just you saying that you like Jalen Hurts more than Lamar Jackson?
I mean, they should already played Lamar.
Well, obviously, yes, but clearly they don't want to. Or maybe they will. I don't know. They probably will. But go back into it, Jordan. Yeah, the Red Sox got a shortstop, I guess. I don't know. Jalen Duran's probably still going to be their everyday center fielder, sadly. Yeah, no, I was reading a report on this guy, and it's like, well, he wasn't an everyday player, partially because of injury, but not only because of injury, also because they had more everyday players there, So he didn't only play 35 games 2 years ago because he was hurt. Even sometimes when he was healthy, they just didn't want to play him. So it's fine. All right, it's fine. He didn't play either. Anyway, so point is, I wanted to bring this up because, which again, this guy was like one of their top prospects at one point. And of course, Jordan, you as the Boston Red Sox, you can't do what the big guys do. You can't just go out and sign real players. You gotta go kind of scum around, bring in some other teams' reclamation projects. You gotta find other ways to get it done. What are you typing? What are you typing?
You know what it is. We're back, baby. Poverty enjoyer.
Exactly. No, yeah, you got okay, good. We're staying on track.
I was out of character for a second.
Yeah, no, we're staying on track. Excellent. But no, you gotta, scum around and get other teams' reclamation projects, which I'm starting to think like maybe Chaim Bloom just lacks self-esteem. I think he just thinks that he can fix everybody.
I mean, it's plug and play. Just head of personnel management. Any guy can do it.
Let's
go get another one in the second round.
I would love if they went and got another general manager, and it's what a good idea. Can they draft a president of baseball ops in the second round, please? Can Jalen Hurts? How's Jalen Hurts scouting? How is he at utilizing the international signing pool?
He might be good at it.
But no, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing. They're just, why are they so blatant about this? Why are the Red Sox doing this, Jordan? It's like everything they do just makes me, it just annoys me. Anyway, so that happened with the Red. That's really the only Red Sox nugget. I just want to point out the Red Sox are again cheaping out for no reason. The Celtics lost to the Magic again.
Just like you not re-signing Jalen Hurts.
Absolutely. No, shouldn't do it. You see, Jordan, the problem is I was just trying to introduce like an idea. I wasn't committing to it. I was just introducing the idea. It's a concept I've heard thrown around. I thought maybe we'd have a discussion about it. But you instead are choosing to push me into this hole. You are trying to push me into this box where now I'm a Jalen Hurts hater, Jordan. And I don't know what you want. I think you just want me to be a Jalen Hurts hater. You see, you think I'm going to respond by coming out and maybe like softening my stance. But I think instead, I'm just going to dig in on it, Jordan. Because I know how to dig in on a take. I will hold on to a take for you. They should just go get like AJ McCarron. It'll be fine.
Does AJ McCarron even still play?
I think he was on a team at one point this year. I think he was on a roster at some point. He currently is signed to the St. Louis Battlehawks of the XFL. All right.
Oh baby, he's coming.
I would love to get what are those Battlehawks jerseys look like? I might get one of those. Wait a second. I would love to have an AJ McCarron Battlehawks jersey. That would be so funny. Wait a minute. Do they have photos of the jersey? The jerseys kind of suck. I don't like them. They're kind of bad looking. Anyway. What do you want, Jordan? You think I'm going to back off? You think I'm going to soften my stance?
Jake, all I'm saying...
I don't know what you're saying.
Jalen Hurts is a little bit too good.
I see it.
Just throw away.
How many teams
have
had a quarterback that's very good? I just want you
to stop. Think about the quarterbacks that are in the draft this year.
I know.
And then the Eagles won't get any of them.
Next year. Draft somebody else. Get them ready for next year.
And like, and look at the NFC. You look at the competition.
Good chance that guy's the best quarterback in the NFC in 2 years.
If this was the AFC, I see where you were coming from.
I disagree. I think you got to have the quarterback's arms race in the AFC.
But this is the NFC where like dudes are too good to get rid of. That's all I want you to.
I don't know.
They're good enough to compete with it. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, like how the Orlando Magic are good enough to compete with the Boston Celtics because they beat them 3 times this year.
Exactly.
Also but also again, I think like whenever we round to the Celtics, I keep having the same take. Like even when they have a dumb loss, unlike years past, I'm not angry because even when they have a dumb loss, they won their last 9 games beforehand, so I can live with it. I can live with one bad loss. Those are gonna happen. Those are gonna happen every year. It's fine. It's so refreshing. They beat
still in first.
What?
I said they're still in first.
Oh, they're still good and 5 games ahead. But I am glad that they beat the Warriors. I did want to talk about this game. I know the game was from Thursday, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. I'm very glad they beat. I did not want them to lose to the Warriors twice this year, because then God forbid you meet them in the finals, which is probably not going to happen because the Warriors have been not so great.
I was about to say I don't know if the Warriors.
But but like they come back, they heat up, suddenly they're in there. Like I'm not counting them out. Like they're out of it now, but I don't know what happens if they're also like they're the 10 seed right now. They're also 4 games back of the Kings. Like what if like Steph comes back and they just go on a heater and now like and then they get into the playoffs and they're cruising and they're in it. Like I'm not counting them out, Jordan. I hate to say it. Like they just got Wiggins back. Like suddenly they go on a roll. Maybe they're in it.
Light the beam.
And I'll like the beam, baby. Beam team for life. But I'm so glad. From like a mental's perspective, like as important as like a regular season NBA game could be, I did not want them to lose. And they tried to give that game away, Jordan. Oh, don't get me wrong. They still fell into all their bad habits that they've had this year. But they did beat them. So I give them credit. Lowercase c credit. Because they barely scraped by them. But nope, like I don't know. I am glad that maybe that'll somewhat loosen whatever intense mental hold the Warriors must have had on the Celtics, the way they just crumbled in the finals and the way they just crumbled against them when they played them in Golden State earlier this season. So I am glad they're not going into the playoffs 0-2 against the Warriors. I put some kind of stock in that. Is it a lot of stock? Yeah. I don't want to write off the entire regular season. I think that's boring. I think that makes a waste of time feel like a bigger waste of time. We could do load management, resting players discourse, because it pops up once a year whenever the Warriors inevitably rest all their players in like some big game. I don't feel like doing it though. I don't want to do it, Jordan. Do you want to do it? Because I don't want to do it.
But Jake,
I know.
People drove.
Oh, it sucks. Oh, I sympathize with it.
800 miles.
Oh, I understand why it's frustrating.
Clay and Draymond.
Oh, it's annoying. Oh, I'd legitimately be mad. They should probably give those people their money back.
But Jake, don't you think they should reduce the
they'll
number
never do that.
of season games?
You see, they'll never do that. They'll never give all the money back.
Don't you think they should expand the rosters?
Fine. What? Fine. That they could do. I don't know how that fixes the problem. Like, I don't care if, like, oh, no, wait. Steph's out, but the 17th guy on the roster's playing. They got...
Don't you think they should sign Jalen Hurts?
You know, he need a job in a year, you know?
He might. I mean...
Be the third.
When the Eagles, they're all Andy Dalton, they go like 8-10,
or win like 13 games with Andy Dalton because they'll still have a sick roster around him.
I mean that is the red rifle though.
And it's a red rifle. That's what I'm saying. You know, you get him in there. You got all these weapons. They've got like Justin Jefferson now somehow. Like they're just slinging it all around. Like that doesn't feel so bad. Not looking so bad.
Can't spend $200 million on a QB, but you can spend $125 for Justin Jefferson.
That seems kind of worth it, yeah. I might rather have Justin Jefferson than like the 7th best quarterback in the NFL, I'll be honest with you. That's not bad. It's not horrible. It's not a horrible way to make a living. Yeah, we still got $75 million in wiggle room there. Get some DNs or something. Come on. Get some safeties.
All right, you're baiting me now.
Get the red rifle in there. It's not looking bad.
Dude is actually trolling me.
Or not.
I'm being trolled.
But what was I talking about? This one's going.
Team resting starters.
Oh,
your favorite discourse.
That's what it is. It's like a once a year discourse. It sucks. I don't really know what there's really no solution to it. No solution that anybody would ever do. So I don't know. I still just say the best solution is just tell teams you can't rest guys in like primetime games and tell them to live with it. But I don't know.
What if they just started playing all their games at neutral sites when they had to rest their starters?
That makes sense. Yeah, you played them all in the Georgia Dome. All right, I'm with you now.
Exactly.
Okay, good. Okay, that's it. This one's gone way too long. We'll do a conspiracy theory next week. I don't think we got 20 minutes.
So paying Jalen Hurts, that was the conspiracy theory this episode.
I'm telling you, it's a flashpoint. It's going to be one. Or Jalen Hurts just becomes like one of the top 3 quarterbacks. Maybe he just does. Like maybe he's just sick and I don't have it. Like again, like if they play the games. This never was a Jalen Hurts thing, Jordan. I want you to understand this. I was using Jalen Hurts as like the example for this idea, and you just locked in on Jalen Hurts.
Because they should pay Jalen Hurts.
Let's find out. I don't know. I'm sorry. Well, fine. Maybe it is a Jalen Hurts thing. I'm just not hyper. Okay, maybe I'm not just hyper. Maybe I'm less sold on him than you are. Then maybe that is it. Maybe it is a Jalen Hurts thing. Then I don't know.
Like, what do you like?
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Who else is there for them to sign?
I don't know. Figure that 2 years from now. I don't know. 2 years? I don't know. What do you mean?
I mean, they can't draft Hendon Hooker because the Patriots are going to draft him, right?
That's true. Yeah. That's true. Hopefully. Well, maybe honestly, Belichick probably won't like try to trade up for him though. So if the Eagles just kind of like be a little bit proactive and like catch Belichick like napping, he'll probably figure it out. They'd probably be able to get ahead of him, honestly. Oh, that's it, Jordan. You draft Hendon Hooker. You let him rehab in your system. You kind of help him develop over the years. And following year, you got another young, cost-controlled quarterback ready to go.
And then just don't pay him and restart the process.
In 3 years, yep. Maybe it's the model. I don't know. I was just using it as an example, Jordan. I was like, that's how the Dolphins ran themselves this year. It's what the 49ers have been doing. It's what...
The 49ers have been trying to get off of Jimmy G for 8 years.
Exactly.
Because
they were dumb and they gave him a bunch of money. They gave him the biggest contract ever after he played like 6 games. And then it's when they're not paying him, they suddenly have like the best roster in the league.
Jimmy G's fine.
He's fine, but oh my God, we're not doing it.
You can't
Jesus
replace
Christ,
Jimmy G with who?
Jordan,
with who? Who are you going to replace him with?
Brock Purdy, apparently.
But Brock Purdy may just be the greatest quarterback ever.
Maybe.
Or
he's just surrounded by weapons and surrounded by good play calling, and they have a great O-line that I hope the Patriots snag a right tackle from, and
they won't.
Hey, the guy's a free agent. But they can afford to pay him because they got Brock Purdy and Trey Lance making no money, so they can pay him. They're paying.
Well, they're going to have to pay. They have to pay one of the three.
Not right now.
Eventually.
Yeah, eventually, or not.
Just because the problem comes in the future doesn't mean it doesn't.
Or not,
come.
or they don't, or they keep it, or they keep it rolling, or they just find somebody else and they get them going. I'm just saying, maybe that's the model. That was the only take, Jordan. You just honed in on Jalen Hurts. This was not a Jalen Hurts slander thing. This was not specifically about Brock Purdy. This was not about any of these people as individuals. This wasn't about their families. This wasn't about their pride. This is about like a general team-building philosophy that I am interested in seeing how it plays out in these playoffs, Jordan.
You gotta play Jalen Hurts.
But you are like, I don't know.
I don't.
Also,
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
hyper locked in on Jalen Hurts. Let me see it. All right, let me see it.
What else do you need?
Against a great defense. Literally this week, he's playing like one of the best defenses in the NFL in a conference title game. That is a great litmus test for a player. Great litmus test. We're literally about to see it in like 4 days. We are literally about to get. I want to see that. I want to see how he plays the 49ers. And that will obviously move the needle for me on Jalen Hurts, depending on how that game goes.
Beep,
Sunday at 3 p.m.
Beep, beep. That's the Brinks truck backing up to Philadelphia.
I don't know. Just saying.
Beep, beep.
But that's it. That's the end of the show. Follow the YouTube. Follow the TikTok. Follow me on Twitter at J.K.R. Elmsley. Follow Jordan at true_world_king. We'll be back next week. We'll have some. I guess we'll do some Jalen Hurts chat. I hope he's great. He's very fun to watch. I don't know. Let me see it. Let me see how he does in his first playoff run. I don't think that's crazy. Like he hasn't been like Mahomes.
I don't know. Like, did you watch the Giants game? Like,
I did. He was good. The whole team's good. They're very well. It's a very well constructed roster. They have like 11 All-Pros on that roster, Jordan. They have so many. Their second court. James Bradbury was an All-Pro.
49ers, so do like the Chiefs.
Because the Chiefs don't. You see, Chiefs don't. Chiefs.
They have like 5, and like so do the Cowboys. The Cowboys have like 7. Yeah. Like there's only so much talent in the NFC. All the NFC talent's on like 4 teams.
Yeah, and 2 of those teams are the 2 teams that are paying their quarterbacks nothing because they had the assets to be able to do that. It's true.
What about the Cowboys that are also surrounded by all pro players? And they're all paying their quarterbacks
I think the talent's kind of. I think they have like some guys, but up and down the roster, they have like CD. Yeah, they got some big holes compared. The Eagles have like the Eagles and 49ers. We talked about at the beginning of the show. They're the 2 most complete rosters in the NFL. We talked about that earlier. You can't have the most complete roster in the NFL when you're paying your quarterback $35 million.
But when you pay your quarterback $35 million and he's kind of good, you don't need that many.
Yeah, we'll find out. It depends how good he is.
Like, it doesn't matter how many holes the Chiefs have in their defense.
Well, yeah, because they have Patrick Mahomes. He's literally the best quarterback in the league. See, he's on a different echelon. And there's a big difference.
Jalen Hurts is like on the echelon below.
Yeah, but it's a big gap between it.
It's a big gap, but it's gets signed to a second contract worthy. Especially considering in the NFC where he's literally the best quarterback in the conference.
I don't know. Are we signing him to like a record-breaking, like biggest contract in history?
Like I mean, you don't have to, but you have to give him a second contract.
How big is it? I don't know.
I don't know. 175 guaranteed.
I don't think it's gonna be. That's not the Brinks truck, Jordan.
That's the Brinks truck.
That's not. I'm just saying these guys know it's always a record-breaking guy. Anyway, we're done. We're done with the show. We can't just keep doing this in circles. We'll see you all next week. It's been almost 2 hours long. I'm sorry. Bye.
Bye.